Hello and welcome to Heartbreak Hotel with your host, the one and only Erica Danielle. I'm so glad that you guys have clicked on the link and joined me today. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe, all right? So, for this short video, we are going to talk about why. Why did I start this channel? Why did it take me so long? No, we're not going to talk about that. It's past overdue. But we are going to talk about why I started this channel that is long overdue. So, the reason that I decided to start this channel is because the world has grieved some horrific things this year, these past years. We are currently living in a pandemic. No one ever thought that we would be living in a pandemic. COVID came. We're like, what is that? When is it going away? Why is it here? It'll be gone next month. It'll be gone next year, and it's still here. It is our reality now. And what I have known to happen due to COVID is people who suffer or deal with grief, post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression, it has heightened the symptoms that we have had because we have had to be isolated. We're not able to travel like we used to. We become even more introverted, and we're having to deal with our thoughts on our own. A lot of people are. So I felt the need to come and provide a safe place so that people can deal and not have to be by themselves during the pandemic. In addition to the pandemic heightening our heartbreaks, we have also seen violence, a ridiculous amount of violence, shootings, killings, police brutality. We have seen school shootings. It is a lot to deal with. A lot of people are dying, and it's heavy. And I often say, grief is heavy. Don't carry it alone. What's happening is people are dying, but they're leaving us here. They're leaving us here to deal with them being gone. We're here wanting to call them, wanting to hear their voice, wanting to go by their house, wanting to tell them about how our day was, not being able to wake up to them, not being able to go to sleep with them at night. And that is heavy. That's hard. That's why Heartbreak Hotel is here. That's why it is time to break the silence, my silence, and talk about how we're feeling, how we're dealing with our grief, how we're dealing with our loss, how we're coping. Are we coping at all? So that's why this channel was created. So that was created, but who am I and why do I have so much to say about it? Well, I'm going to start from the very beginning, and hopefully I don't forget anyone. But I have dealt with lots of loss in my life when it relates to losing loved ones. I never forget my very first loss. I lost my grandfather, and you may say that's not a big deal. Everybody uses their grandfathers. People that are old, that's not a big shocker. But I remember being very young at 9 years old and losing my grandfather, and it killed me. Like, I couldn't understand it. And back in that day, it was a stigma. Black people don't get help, they don't get therapy, and they just looked at me like I was crazy. I was literally crying. I was 9 years old, and I was crying every day because I missed my grandfather. My grandfather was a caretaker. He used to pick me up from school. I stayed with him on the weekends. We had fried fish and grits for breakfast on Saturday mornings because he fried fish on Fridays. I rode with him in the car, the Piggly Wiggly, to take the glass bottles back, and he would get me a honey bun with the money that we saved the bottles. He was an intricate part of my life, and he was gone. And so I remember not being allowed to deal with those emotions. I went on to lose a very dear uncle of mine. I think what impacted me the most, when I was 19, I lost my mother and my grandmother exactly a month apart, and I was devastated. I was angry at the world. I was mad at God. I was mad at everyone else who still had their moms and their grandmothers, and I'm like, how could you do this to me? I know nothing. I'm 19. I'm still a child. I still need my mom. I want my mom to be here. And I really think that shaped how all of my relationships emerged or didn't emerge, whether it was how I performed in school, how I performed at work, how I related to other people. For a long time, I did not understand. I was just kind of like in a fog when that happened. Then my aunt, my favorite aunt, passed away, and I'm like, what am I doing? Mentors passed away. My mother-in-law passes away. My husband, at the age of not now, but then I was 32. My husband passed away, and I'm like, what the? You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Like, am I just not supposed to have anybody in my life that loves me? Is everybody in my life supposed to die? What is going on? I lose my husband. That was, I believe, I don't even count anymore. Probably 7 years ago, I lost my husband. Then I lost my nephew, Ty. He was only 18. He was shot and killed. I went into deep depression again because I felt regret for feeling like I should have been able to save him. And then 2 years after that, I lost my cousin, and I lost a really close friend, and I lost it, guys. I lost it, like, because I didn't allow myself to really grieve all the people that I had lost, and it just compounded, and it hurt, and it hurt, and it hurt. So that's why I'm here. In 2017, I started to help at my local church to be a grief facilitator in our grief share group, and I realized that it's needed. No matter how long ago it was, no matter who it was, we need to talk about it. You need to know you're not crazy. You need to know that your feelings are valid and that there is help, okay? So that's why we have Heartbreak Hotel, and I cannot wait to hear all of your stories, and I hope that what I say helps you on your journey.